Hi and welcome at today's video where hopefully I can cascade from my experience, expertise, and knowledge to help you be a better informed business leader in taking decisions with minimum risks and simplicity about where you're heading and how you will get there, help you pivot and reinvent yourself as needed, attract, keep, motivate, and empower people around you, help you even find a sweet spot that will keep most stakeholders happy with your performance and management style, lead the way into new horizons with elegant simplicity, but not forgetting your competitive advantage, and make sure you focus on this. And last but not least, increase efficiency, profitability, and productivity without stepping over dead bodies. Now, let's deep dive into today's topic. Hi guys, and welcome at today's video where we're gonna be discussing and exploring together the concepts of globalization intertwined with free trade and possible benefits of why free trade should be encouraged. But at the same time, I want to point out that I know that is not always a fair game. And I do understand why the governments try to step in with what is known as protectionism policies so that later on they can establish some form, and I'm talking in a positive sense right now, some form of fair competition. Okay? But let's keep this now, for the sake of the exercise, in a very utopic situation, okay, in which we look at the benefits of free trade and we consider that all the agents that are playing this game and are exploring and exploiting certain markets are doing this according to the textbook. Okay, so this is for the sake of the exercise. Okay, so what do we understand first through the globalization process? Okay, maybe you already had ideas about McDonald's in your country, or the fact that you can access Coca-Cola, or the fact that you can buy a certain car that is manufactured in a different country. Or it's about you being able to go and study in the UK if you're not from the UK, or it gives you the possibility of buying the same furniture from IKEA as you would have bought if you would have been in Sweden, okay? Now, all these in one way or another are a correct way to identify the phenomena of globalization, and I would put it in a nutshell and state it as the process in which there is a increased freedom in the movements of good, capital, and people around the world because the governments are not stepping in to stop this, or otherwise say they're staying out of the way and letting this happen. Okay? And this means that we are heading towards the idea of free trade. Okay? Because the government stays away and there are no barriers that could limit the trade or the exchange of goods, capital, and people between countries. That is the situation of where we're talking about free trade. Okay? So government steps away. They also step in when it's necessary, and I think it's necessary in many situations because it's not a fair global competition out there, as I did mention. But for the sake of this exercise now, imagine that the governments are far, far away and they're letting us free trade. So which are the actual benefits of this free trade? Okay? Now, one benefit is that we have a variety of good. Okay, out there. We can go at the supermarket and find several sodas or detergents or cereals that we can buy over there, which might not be able to be produced in that specific country because of the climate, the scarcity of that resource, because of the location, the infrastructure, the lack of know-how. God knows there are so many reasons why a country cannot produce something. Still, that doesn't mean they don't deserve to enjoy ice cream, right? Or have a proper steak over there, or have access to cereals, or cleaning products, or products that are used for maintaining machinery, right? So this is just one example of why it is beneficial to encourage this kind of trade between countries, so that consumers, your citizens, as a government, have a choice between a variety of goods. Okay? Now, I can tell you one or two examples which are unable to be produced in my country. What comes in mind is exotic fruit, coffee, and petrol. Okay? So without this process of freedom of movement of these goods between countries as a result of trade policies, it would not be accessible to folks over here, which is very sad. Another one would be having an import of high quality goods at a very decent cost. Keeping things more efficient, okay? And because you manage to import some things that are at a more accessible price than you would produce them, it raises the living standards of consumers that are on a lower or a medium income that otherwise perhaps could not afford to have access to those products so often or at all. So this is also a way of making things more accessible and increasing the living standards for your citizens. Okay? Now, another one would be to take advantage of scenarios in which a company has a comparative advantage and focus on your competitive advantage when producing. And let me tell you what I mean about this. It would be insane for me to start investing, pumping money, and going through the pain points of actually becoming a coffee producer on the market, on the economic market, or on the economic map, since I don't have a history, tradition, know-how, and experience to do that. So ultimately, I will have a very high opportunity cost by trying to focus my energy and resources of becoming a state that produces coffee instead of remaining specialized in furniture, for example, for which I have a tradition. I have folks that are specialized. I can find labor, and I can sell even internally or externally. So I would have a lower opportunity cost by doing the furniture, which I can also export. Okay, so bottom line is over here, guys, that if it is cheaper or more affordable and easier to actually import something from a country that produces this at a lower cost that you would do it, enabling you to focus on designing, building, investing in things that can be exported or sold domestically at a higher added value and profit, do so. Take advantage of the lower opportunity cost that is out there, okay? Don't be stubborn. Focus on what matters, okay? And last but not least is an economy and a country, an industry that focuses on their specialization, on their comparative advantage, will actually reach economies of scale, okay? If you have a tradition in doing whiskey, and you do it well, and you do it at a low opportunity cost, and there's already a domestic demand for your product, keep doing that, because you're gonna do it and you're gonna benefit of economies of scale, and this gives you a comparative advantage, and this will help you be on the list of other markets which want to import your product, because for them it's absolutely impossible to do it, or very expensive to do it, they don't know how to do it. Okay? So these would be the four main advantages that I see in encouraging free trade, although it's not always a fair game. And we do need institution verifying the quality and the process of reaching the final state of a product that is going to be put out there on the shelf. And I encourage them to do their activity and go as frequent as possible in checking the quality standards and safety standards of these products. I hope you will have them in mind next time you're thinking, even at a business level, of investing in a new business line or new product instead of importing it and reselling it. Thank you.